So, how can you really know if you can trust an autonomous AI agent? It's a huge question, maybe the biggest question in AI right now. In this explainer, we're going to break down the four crucial tests, the four hurdles that every trustworthy AI agent absolutely has to pass.
I mean, really think about it. You hand over a big, complex task, booking your next trip, analyzing a dense report, or even just managing your calendar. Are you actually confident it's going to do exactly what you want it to without, going completely off the rails? It's a massive barrier for so many people. And let's be honest, maybe just doesn't cut it. Not when we're talking about real-world, production-ready apps that businesses and people rely on. Without a clear, concrete way to measure performance, you're basically just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. And that uncertainty, that's what we need to get rid of.
So, to get from that shaky maybe to a confident yes, we need a system, a framework. This explainer is all about walking through four essential evaluation metrics that act like a gauntlet for any AI agent. If an agent can pass these four tests, you're well on your way to building something you can truly count on.
Okay, first things first. Before an agent can do anything, before it can lift a finger, it has to know what you want. And that brings us to our very first test, intent resolution. And this is so important. It's not just about picking up on keywords from your prompt. Intent resolution is all about figuring out if the agent truly understood the scope of what you asked. Did it ask smart follow-up questions to clarify things? Did it confirm its understanding before jumping into action? This right here is the absolute foundation of building trust. And hey, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's super practical. Intent resolution is actually measured by another AI, kind of like an LLM judge, that scores the whole interaction. So if you get a low score, it's a clear signal to you, the developer, that your prompts probably need a little tweaking. It creates this awesome feedback loop for continuous improvement. Okay, so the agent understood you, great start, but now it has to actually act. It's got to do something, and that means choosing the right tools for the job. Let's move on to test number 2, which builds right on top of the first, tool call accuracy. This metric gets right into the nitty-gritty of the agent's workflow. It's not just about whether it picked a tool. It's about picking the right one, with the right information in the right order. Think about it, like a carpenter. It really matters if they grab a hammer when they need a screwdriver. It's the exact same principle for an AI agent.
And this is why it's so critical. It lets you debug the process, not just judge the final output. If an agent fails, you can trace it back and see, it picked the wrong tool at step 3. This is an absolute game changer, especially in those really complex systems where you might have multiple agents all working together. It's how you build confidence that the agent is working not just correctly, but efficiently.
All right, so our agent understands the goal, it's picked its tools, now it has to follow through on what might be a long, multi-step plan without getting distracted. And that brings us to our third test, task adherence. The more complex a workflow gets, the higher the risk that the agent might just drift away from its main instructions. Task adherence is how you fight that. It's like having a little supervisor constantly looking over the agent's shoulder, asking, hey, are you still doing the thing I told you to do? I just love this quote from the source material because it's so blunt and gets right to the point. This is exactly the problem task adherence solves. It stops the agent from wandering off, chasing some irrelevant subtask, and wasting a bunch of time and resources. It keeps the agent locked on target. And just like our other metrics, this gives you real, actionable feedback. Getting a score like a 3 out of 5 isn't a failing grade, it's a signal. It tells a developer, hey, your instructions might be a little fuzzy. Maybe you need to tighten them up. This is what evaluation-driven development looks like in practice. We're here. The final, and you could argue the most important test of all. The agent has done its work, and it's about to give you an answer. But is that answer based on facts, or did it just make stuff up? This is the test for groundedness. The number one job here is to fight hallucinations. This is especially critical for systems that use something called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. It's a fancy term, but all it really means is the AI is supposed to look up facts from a knowledge base before it gives you an answer. Groundedness is the metric that makes sure the agent actually did its homework. And this slide just lays it out crystal clear. On the left, you've got a trustworthy, verifiable answer that can point back to its sources. On the right, you've got a dangerous hallucination, an answer that might sound convincing but is totally made up. Groundedness is the firewall between these two outcomes.
The way we measure this is pretty straightforward, but so powerful. Often it's just a simple true or false. Was the response grounded in the source material, yes or no? Your overall score then becomes a passing rate. And if that rate is low, whoa, that's a huge red flag. It often means there's a problem with how your agent is retrieving data. For any serious enterprise application, this metric is absolutely non-negotiable.
So we've walked through all 4 of these tests. But they're not just separate items on a checklist. The real magic is how they work together as a complete system to help you build AI that you can actually trust.
And this right here, this is the whole journey in a nutshell. It starts with understanding you. Then it moves to picking the right tools. From there, it has to execute the mission without getting lost. And finally, it has to stick to the facts. Each step builds on the last, creating this powerful chain of trust.
And that's really the bottom line here. These aren't just academic scores to put on a report. They are a diagnostic toolkit for developers to pinpoint exactly where things are going wrong, a guide for making agents better, and a clear benchmark for deciding when a system is truly ready to be deployed in the real world.
By systematically using these 4 tests, the answer to that big question can finally shift from a hesitant maybe to a confident yes. So the real question now is, what will you build with that confidence?